What's up, boys, and welcome back to the Set 8P podcast. Now, this is a very special video for two reasons. So, first of all, we've got a special guest, Ruben. Welcome to the podcast. How's it going?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Right there. I'm doing great. Also got Matt here, another regular. And the second reason why it's great, it's the first F1 video. It's been coming for a while. I've been thinking of doing it, but now, Matt's into the sport. We've got Ruben here who's been willing to come on. So thank you very much for coming on, both of you. And I think, the place to start, I'll ask a bit of background, so Ruben, favorite drivers, favorite team?
Well, Ferrari is in the blood, Italian family. So yeah, Ferrari. And obviously Italian, so Giovinazzi, who's actually from the same town in Italy as my family. And I like Gasly as well because French blood as well.
There you go. Respect that. How long have you been following F1 for?
I don't really know.
Is Big Johnny an F1 guy as well, or just mainly from your own?
Yeah.
Respect. And Matt, on to you. We kind of talked about your questioning of teams, but yeah, go for it.
Well, I've only got into F1 quite recently, so I'm still in the process of choosing one. I initially thought about Alpine just because that's a really nice looking car, but not a massive fan of them. Also, they're not really very good, and I kind of like everyone wants a team that's going to at least do well. So at the moment, I'm a big fan of Ferrari because obviously, they've got a really nice looking car. They've got good drivers as well that are relatively young. So that's just like a nice little team. And then McLaren as well, because I'm English.
Yeah, some good choices.
And I love Daniel Ricciardo, who's probably my favourite driver.
Yeah, no. Danny Rick got some good airtime in Drive to Survive. That was, I think that's a good thing to see because you can't hate the guy. Can't hate the guy, really. So yeah, a good place to start for this video. Our first video is the recent USGP at COTA. And yeah, want some initial thoughts, Ruben. What do you think of the race result? Obviously, with Max coming out on top.
A bit unexpected, to be honest. I thought it's usually a track that favours Hamilton and Mercedes, but Red Bull got the strategy right and paid off.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I thought initially it'd be a one-stop race, given most people starting on mediums, but mainly because of the track temperatures and it being so hot in Texas this time of year, it sort of turned the tables a little bit, and I think Red Bull just got it right. Looked like it went in a bit too early on both stops, in my opinion, but it turned out right in the end. Matt, I'll come to you. What are your thoughts on the first little tussle between Max and Lewis coming into turn one? It was a bit feisty.
It was brilliant. I love the intent from Max to just try and almost run him off the track straight away. I mean, it didn't work for him, but it was a big play, and I enjoyed watching it. Yeah, I enjoyed the little tussle throughout the whole race.
I was expecting Max completely. If Lewis got a better start, I knew he'd just come straight along and block his path. And Lewis, he just was way quicker reaction. Max got a bit of a wheel spin on the start, and looked like he pushed off the track on the first turn, but since corner he had the inside, so you can't blame him. And then on into the race, I think both drivers, did as much as they could. I think it was mainly the strategy that came on top. I think we're going to mainly just talk about some drivers. We'll go through our thoughts on some of their races. I think we'll start with a pretty easy one, not much to talk about. Nikita Mazepin, do what he does best. Only reason he's there is just block other people, ruining their races almost. Max had some problems with going through him, and yeah, just getting completely owned by his teammate again. So I just gave him a complete 3 out of 10. Ruben, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, you put it right, to be honest. Was unlucky at the start with his headrest thing, but not much else to it.
No, it was just a textbook Haas performance, really. Matt, any other things to say?
Not really much. I think you put it quite well. I mean, I think the 3 out of 10, I'd give the 3 for the entertainment factor of him racing. There's a reason he's
Yeah.
called Maz Spin. And it's like he's purely there just to make people laugh, to be honest. And he does. So yeah, I think a 3 out of 10 might be a bit generous, but
Well, yeah. Well, at this point, it really is. And I'm not sure whether it's a testament to, Mick doing well, how much quicker he is, or just the fact that he's so bad. To be honest, I think Mick had a pretty solid race. Obviously, had a bit of controversy, blocking Max near the end of the race. That got a bit tough for him, but maybe that helped Max really because he got that DRS from him, but at the same time also slowed him down. Yeah. So what do you think to that? Do you think maybe it was more the DRS that helped him, or do you think he mainly got slowed down by Mick? Would have helped Hamilton.
I think didn't make much difference, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I think Lewis. I don't think would have caught him anyway. I think Max did well to sort of because his tyres were gone with like 10 laps to go, and he sort of held back a little bit. Looked like Lewis could have got back into it, but it meant that from backing out, managing the tyres meant he could have gone a bit further at the end of the race. Lewis couldn't really get close enough, which was the main thing. And Lewis got a bit aggressive near the end, under and oversteered a little bit. Sort of meant that, just didn't really have good exits out of corners, and therefore, didn't actually have DRS in the end, and wasn't enough for Max to lose his lead. So yeah, I think the Haas driver is not much to talk about. Alfa Romeo, I think the two drivers had some interesting races. Had some tussle with Alonso. Giovinazzi, what are your thoughts, Ruben, on the race?
He keeps disappointing me because he qualifies quite high, but then always seems to just drop back. Like he's always in front of Raikkonen and just finishes behind him. And it's not good given that his seat's up for grabs, the last one.
Yeah.
I've given him a 5 because he did well to be close to the points, but apart from that, just disappointing.
Yeah, well, that's the usual Giovinazzi. I think it's tough, in the car he's in, arguably the ninth best car in the grid. It's up for debate whether they're quicker than Williams. I'm not sure, but despite that, he starting the race in 11th, dropping back, had some interesting tussles with Alonso as well, which was good to see. But yeah, I'd probably give him a 6 or a 7. Really, I wouldn't say he had a bad race, but at the same time, it's just normal Giovinazzi performance really. And as we will see it on the line, you really need to put in some stellar performances, and it's not happening. And when you got someone like Piastri or Guan Yu Zhou, fighting for an F1 spot, who have just done well in F2 recently, it's tough for him to give an argument as to whether he deserves it or not. I guess we can talk about that later. Matt, thoughts on Giovinazzi?
I don't really have too much to add on to what you two have said. I think 5 out of 10 is probably a good way to go. Like if we're giving Mazepin a 3, he's not much better. I think the point about his seat being up for grabs as well, like he did show some frustration in the US GP when Alonso overtook him perfectly fairly. By the way, there was nothing wrong with that. Just completely taking him off the track to go round. But he just showed a bit of frustration, a bit of like, actually, you know what? I could lose my seat here and I don't want to, which was nice to see. Like, he did care a little bit, but he has been a bit disappointed.
Yeah, he's just in a position where he can't really express his talents because he's had good performances this year. It's just the fact that in the races, he can't keep up that pace like in Holland or Netherlands, what you want to call it. He qualified P7 and just got unlucky from the first lap and then couldn't really maintain points. So, that's just how it is when you're in a lower car. You can't always, show your talents. So I feel a bit bad for him because I think he is a good driver, but not much he could have done. But he showed some heart, so you got to give it to him. Now his teammate Kimi Raikkonen, we've talked about, his usual race pace advantage over Giovinazzi. Kimi Raikkonen. Matt, what do you think of Raikkonen's?
Oh, I love him. He's brilliant. He's hilarious.
Any thoughts on the race? He had P10 and then sort of fell out of his hands with the spin at the end. Do you think, what do you think of that?
To be honest, like he was actually decent through the race, but it would have been great for him to have secured points in such a terrible car. But it's that spin at the end. he had no pressure on him at all to go fast. He had decent gaps between him. No one was pushed behind. Alonso was out, so there was no real threat from him. He didn't need to try and go around a corner so quickly, which led to the spin out. Now, you can obviously blame it on the conditions. It was boiling tyres. People were saying they're about to explode. But I just think, to be honest, I just don't think he really cares anymore. Like, he's retiring at the end of the year. He's had a brilliant career. He just probably is doing it for fun now.
Any thoughts on that, Ruben? Regarding that?
He's got it right, to be honest. Probably just a lapse of concentration. Not passion, just not there anymore.
Well, yeah, you've seen it. I mean, Kimi's never really been a big character. You all know that. But I think now it really is showing that his time has come. Really, I think this was definitely the time to leave. And despite him getting in the points, you can't be making mistakes of that, and that's probably one of the reasons why he's leaving F1. Credit to his career, but it's just what it is. At the end of the day, they've got to look for the future Alfa Romeo. Moving on to probably the team with the worst weekends, and Matt's former team for 2 races, Alpine. I think we'll start with Alonso, given he had some controversial moments. Believe got damaged in the start of the race, had to pit early, then got into some. Oh, he didn't. Did he? Can't remember. Ocon. Yeah, no, that's it. Started last in the race, got up really well, and then couldn't really pass the Alfa Romeos, and had the tussle with Giovinazzi where they push each other off the track, and I would have given him higher, but it's the fact that he couldn't just get past them, and it did ruin his race a little bit. So it feels harsh for me to give him a 6, but just got a bit frustrated at the end of the day. He didn't get points, so a good effort from P20, but not much you could have done. Ruben, your thoughts?
I think he was trying a 3-stop. I don't know if that was because he got damaged or something.
Yeah,
that's why he's further behind.
Yeah.
But apart from that, just pretty average.
Yeah,
6 for me as well.
I agree with both of you. Like the race, it's an interesting one because he showed a lot of the way he got up to sort of P15 around there. He showed good skills, as obviously he's so experienced. But it's the way that if Giovinazzi's held him off for so long, especially in the fact that the Alpine car's actually all right. It's not amazing. It's not top 5, but it's not bad. And it's certainly not as good as that. Well, it's not bad as Alfa Romeo's.
No.
But the fact that he got held by Raikkonen and Giovinazzi for most of the race was a little bit sort of disappointing. So I can agree with both of you on the 6.
Yeah. And I think another thing to note is the fact that Alpine described this engine penalty as more of a performance factor than a wearing factor. So it realistically should have given them more of a boost. And for most of the race, it did. But at the end of the day, got held up by Alfa Romeos, and in an Alpine, you should be doing better. So yeah, Esteban Ocon, I don't think there's got damage early. Couldn't really fight back to midfield from there. Had a little moment with Latifi coming out the pits, but I can't. I'll just give him a 6 just because didn't really have a race to have after given the incident, the start of the race, which was a bit unlucky. So yeah, any follow up from you guys?
Forgot he was there.
Yeah,
that's fair enough.
Well, it's a bit,
bit of credit for was it Russia where he did the whole race on one set of tires?
For Turkey, yeah, that was impressive.
That was brilliant. But other than that, I think that's Ruben summed up perfectly. You would have just forgotten he was there. Dropped all the way down. He overtook. Was it Mazepin? Yeah, he overtook Mazepin.
Wow.
But to be perfectly honest, a 3-year-old could overtake Mazepin, so it's not really anything to go by. And then from there, no point in him being there.
Yeah, no, summed up brilliantly, really. I think we'll just get this one out the way. For me and Ruben, Pierre Gasly. Again, a brilliant performance in qualifying. It's just textbook from him, standard, and just a suspension failure. Had a problem before the race, and again, I can't really rank him after that. You know, he didn't really have a race to have. Yeah, don't want to comment much more really.
He's just been so unlucky in the past few races.
Mhm.
Like Monza, can't really remember much about Russia, but
He had the sprint quali moment where he went off into the gravel.
yeah,
And then couldn't really get back. But he's been so brilliant all season, and you know it's hard to stay consistent, especially in a car with like an AlphaTauri, and he's been brilliant really. So it's fair enough. Hopefully he bounces back. Matt, anything else to add to Pierre Gasly performance? You know,
Not really. I think he's been brilliant this year. I did feel a bit bad for him in Russia because he got that 5-second penalty when he hit Alonso. But
Mhm.
realistically, there's nothing he could do. He was being sandwiched. But other than that, you know, I just
it was Turkey.
was that.
Okay,
sorry,
yeah.
I think you two have summed it up well. He's just been unlucky all year, but he has
Yeah.
shown a lot of promise, and he's been really good. So we're getting a bit of form.
I like how the Alpine bias has gone away already. This is great, really.
I know, I said that at the time. I was like, I felt bad because he got a 5-second penalty, but like he didn't do anything wrong.
Okay, moving on. I'll say so. Despite Pierre's poor performance, I think Yuki Tsunoda had a great performance. To be honest, I mean, he qualified, he got into Q3, had a great drive. He held up many people like Bottas and Raikkonen and Vettel for a while. He started on soft as well. He managed his tires well. You know, most people, you know, were starting on mediums, except Sainz and Tsunoda, if I'm correct. Just managed to manage him great, and I'd honestly give him an 8.5. I think he did a great job to get points. What do you think?
Yeah, I gave him 8. Just again, just what you said basically.
Yeah,
I think
great.
over the season, I think people have been quite harsh on him as well because he's a rookie and he's against Pierre Gasly, who is one of the most talented drivers.
Yeah, honestly.
I might be a bit biased.
Yeah, no, of course. Same with me.
I think with Gasly's good performances, I don't actually know how good the AlphaTauri car is. Like, it makes me wonder: is it fighting with Alpine, or is it just as bad as the Alphas?
Does make you wonder with some drivers like Russell and Gasly, who just completely just outperform both of their teammates so well. It's like whether really it's either them just taking it to another level, really just the other teammate needs to come forward. Because to be honest, AlphaTauri have been getting Q3s, you know, both of them a couple, many times recently. So, you know, I think the pace just behind Alpine, you know, maybe better. I really can't tell for now, but yeah, Tsunoda, great performance. Matt, anything else?
Not really. I think an 8.5. It's like he's not been brilliant this whole season, so I think he does warrant a high rating. But I also think that in terms of the race, he didn't add. He stayed in the same spot from his qualifying, which I guess you could have wanted him to have maybe gone up a position or two. But then when you've got the people behind you, you've got Ocon missing out on Q3, Vettel a whole lot. He did do well, and I do think he warrants a high rating.
Yeah, no, I've been pretty pleased with Yuki's recent performances, and I think he's really coming into his own and showing his raw pace, which is pretty solid. He's still very young, you know, as a rookie, as Ruben said. Move on to a driver that Matt's already, you know, showed some great love for, Lance Stroll. Thoughts?
I hate him. He's a twat.
Anything about the race? Obviously got reared by Latifi early on.
Good.
What about his Q1 exit as well?
I wasn't watching him. I was just hoping they didn't do very well. And Latifi went into the back of him, so I was happy.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's the fondest weekend from him. Ruben, would you agree with me in that?
I mean, he did really well to recover from being spun, and then finished 12th, I think. So it wasn't even far behind Vettel. I think it was quite good from him, given what happened. So yeah,
Yeah. What would you give him then out of 10? Do you think?
6 or 7,
That's not
6.5.
bad. Not bad. I'd probably give him a 5. Given I think just win with the fact he got knocked out in Q1 early on. From the whole weekend standpoint, he got unlucky with the Tifi. And yeah, did recover well. It's just just an overall poor weekend for Stroll, in my opinion. So yeah, and then Sebastian Vettel as well, starting from P18. I think I had a pretty good race as well. I'd give him an 8 out of 10. What do you think, Ruben?
Yeah, well, points from 18th. Can't ask for much more from him, to be honest.
Yeah, no, really.
7.5.
Mm-hmm. Matt, would you agree?
Yeah, completely.
Good stuff. Right, we're moving on to the big boys now. Unless I've missed Williams actually, but I don't think there's much to say about Williams unless anyone thinks anything. Yeah, no.
Slow this week.
Slow this week. Russell obviously, taking an engine penalty. Had a good start to the race given all the people having mechanical failures, etc., and taking damage. But yeah, just and then Latifi rearing Stroll. That's all that really happened. Mediocre week for them. Nothing I ever seen before. Now I think we'll start with McLaren. And I think Danny Rick had a brilliant race. I generally think his move on Sainz on the first lap was brilliant. Again, held on to in front of Sainz well, I think, and obviously was a lot quicker than Norris as well. So I think it's one of his best weekends, obviously bar Monza for me. What would you guys say to that?
You've put it perfect, to be honest. Not much could have done, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My only negative is that he couldn't really catch Leclerc, but at the same time, Leclerc was on another level as well. So yeah. Matt, I know you're a fan of Danny Rick so far as well. What do you think?
I was very pleased. He did really well, especially with that whole sort of, I'd say, top 7, top 8. The fact that he was so far ahead of Sainz, Norris. I just think it was a brilliant race for him.
Yeah, I fully agree. And I think, there's a lot of high scores for me with these drivers up here because, it's a very good race. And I think for Lando Norris, I do feel a bit bad for him, given, he was off the pace compared to Danny Rick this week. But, it's one of many. Ruben, do you think, maybe this is, Danny Rick's time to show that maybe he is still a better driver than Lando and will in the future be better?
I mean, yeah. I think Lando's still got some learning to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think, although McLaren probably will build the car around Lando more.
Yeah, no, definitely,
because he's been there longer. So I think that shouldn't take away from Lando, but that should give Daniel Ricciardo more credit.
Yeah, no, definitely, and he's I mean, if you look at Renault as well, he's struggling in his first season. People expected more. Same with this season as well. But he's still got class, and you can see that. Matt, what do you think of Danny Rick's performances recently?
I think they've been all right. I'm glad he got a race victory. I can't remember where it was, but it was good for him. I mean, it's not like it was that deserved considering Verstappen and Hamilton both crashed into each other. But it's nice that he's doing well. I would argue that he is currently better than Norris, but I think when you said about the future, I don't think he will be. And I think Ruben's completely right in saying they will build the car around Norris.
Yeah, no.
Sort of a second piece on the side.
Yeah. And we'll definitely talk about this later in our video. Will be coming out after this. Watch out for that. So yeah, we'll move on to Ferrari. I'll let Ruben talk on Leclerc here. What do you think of his race? Personally, I thought it was great.
Wow. He finished 25 seconds ahead of Ricciardo.
Yeah.
Which I think explains it really.
Mm-hmm.
Just so quick. And
just had the pace he had compared to his teammate, to the McLarens, is ridiculous. Honestly, I'm very impressed. I thought, did you say Leclerc podium, or was it Gasly? I can't remember. Leclerc, yeah, no, I would have backed that. Honestly, on another day, definitely could have been able to catch Perez. But yeah, Matt, what do you think of Leclerc's performance?
Oh, it was brilliant. I don't think there's anything else to say. Like, he was 50 odd seconds behind Verstappen, but the fact that he still was so far ahead of Danny Rick, it was brilliant to see.
Yeah. And his teammate, Sainz, I think, had a good wheel-to-wheel battle with Danny Rick for most of the race. But, I think at the end could have possibly passed him, but, didn't really finesse it well, I guess. Obviously they both hit each other and that sort of ended that for him. And, was a lot slower than Leclerc. Ruben, what do you think of that? Do you say?
I mean, he
poor race
started on
for Sainz?
soft.
Mhm.
He started on soft, and did really well to nurse them, make them last. And there was one point where he caught up with Danny Rick, but I think he just pushed a bit too hard by that point.
Yeah.
And obviously the contact would have slowed him down.
Yeah, no, fully agree.
I think good performance, like definitely not bad.
Yeah, no. What do you guys think? Do you think Ferrari now have that driving seat in that third place battle?
I think, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've got a bit of momentum over the last couple of races.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Yeah, no. Matt, what do you think to that? I mean, obviously Ferrari, McLaren are your sort of two teams you're thinking about supporting. So
Yeah, I think Ferrari have the edge. I think Leclerc and Sainz are combined better than Ricciardo and Norris. I think the strategy to have Sainz and softs was an interesting one, which obviously didn't work in the end. But how he still managed to get ahead of Lando, I think was really impressive. Which was a great race.
Yeah, and it's a testament to his pace compared to Charles as well. They've both been very good. And I feel personally before the season, I thought he wouldn't be on that level of Leclerc, but he's come in and proved us all wrong. So you've got to respect him, really. And it's going to be races where Leclerc's going to outpace him. So fair enough. Now, the two big boys, Max Verstappen, like, what a race. Ruben, honestly.
I mean, yeah. He, apart from the start, I think everything was perfect. Like strategy, just kept the tyres going as long as they could, or as much as he needed, and just held Hamilton off.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the strategy really was just perfection. I thought both the stops were too early, but it was just crazy. And I mean, Max he didn't put a foot wrong in that car, really. Obviously, as you said in turn one, but the pace for the whole race was brilliant. And yeah, could have fell to the pressure of that the hot temperatures. Obviously Lewis Hamilton pushing behind him pretty much the whole race. And that's about it, really. Matt, was a surprise to you? Do you think you would have seen Lewis winning after taking the lead early?
I don't think it was that much of a surprise. I think you'd have expected Lewis to win. Obviously, he was winning 6 times before. The COTA, is it called? The American.
Yeah, no.
I just, the way the strategy all worked out was brilliant. Yeah. Even though I think most people at the time thought they were pitting too early.
Yeah,
they show why we're fans and not actually part of the teams, because they were right and we were all wrong. And it proved right, and Max obviously didn't really step a foot wrong apart from that first turn. Stuff like the breaking point, how he went through, I think it was sector 1, a second quicker than Hamilton while he's on his tail, just showed why he deserved to win.
Yeah, and I thought the sector 1, I always thought it'd be a Red Bull sector, and I think Max has pulled it to perfection, and that really gave him that advantage over Lewis fully. So yeah, you got to give him credit, and I gave him 9.5, and I think deserved a driver of the day, definitely. And I think another person who should not be forgotten about, Sergio Perez, could have passed Max on the start, but second driver's duties, let him through, and had the problem with the drink as well, and just fighted on, really. Ruben, anything to add to that? What are your thoughts? I think.
Yeah, I mean, at the start he was keeping up same pace as Hamilton and Verstappen, but I think obviously without the drink he got a bit tired and dropped off slightly. I think Leclerc was catching him, but again, podium, I think second in a row. But
Oh, is it? Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
yeah,
Nah, you bagged.
and
Yeah,
just, yeah, solid,
brilliant,
doing
brilliant.
exactly what's needed of him.
Yeah, Matt. So, from Perez's recent pace shown, do you think he can carry this on and really, solidify himself at the top of the grid with Max?
I reckon he can. I reckon he's getting. I don't think he's there, but if he carries on this momentum, I reckon he's going to get himself into that sort of top 5, top 6, like solidly. And I reckon like the qualifying, he was great in qualifying, getting into P3, and the fact that he was able to maintain that with the pace of Leclerc behind him. Danny Rick obviously had a great race as well, especially without the drink. I think that was. He's my hot take for a possible driver of the day. I still think Max deserved it.
Yeah, no.
But I think he was up there.
Yeah, no. I gave Perez an 8.5. What would you guys give him?
9.
9.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Now Mercedes, just completely outclassed, really. Do you think it was more Ruben? Do you think it was more the outright pace of Max? Do you think it was mainly just a strategy that won it for him over Lewis?
I think strategy played a big part, and I think without Bottas being able to cover, I think that just really helped Red Bull win.
Yeah,
I think Bottas just useless again. I mean, obviously Turkey wasn't, but
yeah, no, it's just the engine problems. It's ridiculous. I don't know what's going on. Right.
Yeah.
It's like I thought. To be honest, I know you're obviously starting, lower, and I thought he'd be able to get back. To be honest, not being stuck behind the McLarens and the Ferraris. Really, it was a bad performance, and Mercedes needed him at the front of the grid. And I know it was because of the engine. It's the reason why he's not up there. But at the same time, you thought he'd get back at least. Given his performance in recent weeks been pretty solid. Matt, do you think this is a cause of concern for Bottas? Do you think he's sort of losing focus, given he's already, parting ways with Mercedes?
Not really. I think he still wants to do well because he wants that third spot in the. Is it third in the overall driver championship?
Yeah.
I think that's something he would want to achieve, and I don't think it's that much of a cause of concern. Obviously, finishing first in Turkey, he was brilliant. I think it was just an off day. Whatever the cause may be, it just didn't do as well as we thought he would.
Yeah, no, I can back that definitely. And that's about it really for this race. But I think moving on to Mexico, Ruben, who do you think has the the momentum and more I guess you could say the advantage coming into Mexico?
Well, I mean, I think Mexico and Brazil are both more suited towards Red Bull. I think they need to just use that advantage just to close the gap or overtake Mercedes, and also just to help Max get as big as a lead he can.
Yeah, no, I can back that, and I think Mexico, even when Mercedes dominated, I think Max won 2 out of the last 4 races there, and that's pretty impressive given Red Bull have been fairly unreliable. They've had they've just not been on the same pace, and he still managed to win there. So I think that's a good testament to how quick they are there. And Brazil is one of Lewis's weakest tracks. I know he's only won like 2 times or 3 times there, and for Lewis, that's it's mad to say that, but it's one of his worst. I can back that. I think Qatar, Saudi Arabia, more power heavy tracks. Matt, what do you think for the next race? Do you think Max furthers his lead?
I've got a little hot take here. I reckon, especially with the momentum he's had, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Sergio Perez win here.
I mean, home soil as well.
Home soil, crowd will be supporting him. He's obviously had 2 brilliant races, but as Ruben said, the track is suited to Red Bull, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a P1, P2 Verstappen, Perez.
I can start.
Interesting.
And I do wonder, Ruben, do you think Lewis will have to take another engine penalty? Because I think it's definitely possible.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Bottas took an engine penalty. Williams did with Russell and Vettel, and they're all Mercedes power units. So
Mhm.
I think, yeah, something's gone wrong
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And then he compared, he's only taken, one for the ICE, and I think it depends on qualifying. I think if he gets, first or second, he'll play it out and won't take a penalty. But I think if he finished below that, he might just take the hit for a race and obviously try to get back, because there's a lot of long straights on Mexico, a lot of overtaking opportunities. Not in like sector 3, there's not much, but it's the long, straight home straight that really, you can get through a lot of cars from there. So yeah, I think it's gonna be an interesting one in Mexico. Can't really call it. I think it's gonna be very very close. I don't know if there'll be a collision. I think there's gonna be another one coming soon from the two rivals. It's got to happen, really. Tensions are rising. It really is the end game now, and I'm very looking forward to it. So yeah, and any closing thoughts for you guys?
just hopefully Hamilton wins.
Hopefully Hamilton wins. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching. For those who are still here for the first F1 video on this channel, gonna have more coming soon. Thank you a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.